whatever it was, okay, I feel had fentanyl in it because he just showed me fentanyl and he says to me, Matt, I wouldn't have messed with this. I wouldn't have messed with this. You're going to have answers here today. And when I'm connecting, I have this soul that I keep feeling past of an overdose here in this world.
He'd be my husband.
Can I tell you everything?
You can tell me everything, yes.
Oh, this is such a hard meeting to do because right away he's preparing me and he says to me, Matt, he goes, you need to handle her like glass. Because he tells me that you are so upset about him and so upset because first of all, the moment I'm connecting with him, he keeps telling me in my ear, he keeps saying to me, I lied to her, I lied to her, I lied to her.
Yeah.
And
it was ugly. Yeah.
He says, Matt, before we even begin this reading, can you please tell my wife how much that I love her? And more importantly, he says, can you please tell her that I trusted her with everything? Because you knew that he had these struggles and you knew that he had these addictions because he tells me that you got him through this before.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And he says to me, Matt, that's why she's so upset because literally you had saved your husband's life once before with this. And now you're like, how come he didn't just be truthful? How come he didn't come to me? But this is a double-edged sword when I'm connecting, Janet, because when I'm connecting with him, he's showing me a couple things that aren't good. When I'm connecting with your husband, I don't believe he knew what he was taking when he died.
I don't think so either.
I see whatever it was, okay, I feel had fentanyl in it because he just showed me fentanyl and he says to me, Matt, I wouldn't have messed with this. I wouldn't have messed with this. You're going to have answers here today because I know that you've been looking for the truth.
Yeah, it's been almost 2 years.
He said to me when I'm connecting with him, he goes, Matt, he goes, did I know what I was doing? He goes, I knew that I was going behind my wife's back, but I would have never, ever taken this drug, he says to me.
He was very scared of it.
He tells me when I'm connecting, he had other people. He knew people who died of fentanyl. That's what he tells me. So he said to me, Matt, he goes, believe me, he goes, I tried everything. And he showed me all of these different drugs within his life that he tried. But I made sure that I would have never trusted this. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
So the day that your husband died, please know that what he was taking was mixed with something else because I see that.
Yes, I have the autopsy. I know that's exactly what happened.
Okay, as long as you know, because he needs to let you know one thing. He says to me, Matt, he goes, I was going to tell her, but I didn't know how. I'm going to be very honest with you. He tells me that before he had died, you knew something was up with him because he was a different person. He tells me his moods were all over the place. He shows me when I'm connecting with him that he was very on edge all the time. And he keeps saying to me, Matt, I hated this because I hated lying to her. He keeps telling me, I hated not telling her the truth. He goes, my plan was to do this a little bit. He goes, and then stop. That's what he tells me. But Matt, I made a mistake. He tells me that you were going through his phone trying to figure out where this had come from, if anybody knew anything. Do you understand that?
I'm trying everything I can to figure this out. Yeah.
He says to me, he needs you to stop because at the end of the day, you're driving yourself crazy.
Yeah.
And I have good news and I have bad news. So the good news is this, is I just saw a police list. So when I see a police list, that means to me that this person who had given your husband or was responsible for these drugs that your husband received is known by the police and already wanted by the police. I can tell you that. But I'm going to tell you the bad news. And that is, and this is what kills me as a medium. Oh my God, it kills me to my core. I don't feel like your husband is ever going to get justice, meaning that I don't think that person's ever going to be linked to how he had died.
It's really dark and ugly. And that doesn't surprise me.
I'm going to be very honest with you. Your husband says to me this. He goes, Matt, that's why she needs to let it go. Because I don't want her chasing after something that she can't fix. He says to me, it's going to cause you more grief and more pain. And the only way to be able to fix this, the only way that you're going to find peace is knowing that your husband is here and right now. He tells me, Matt, he goes, I don't want her to stop anything because the day that your husband died, it's like your life stopped right at that moment. He still shows me when I'm connecting that there's so many things that you refuse to get rid of and that you refuse to part ways with.
Oh yeah.
He says, and Matt, that's fine, but I can't have her keep living in that day. He says she deserves more. And that's what he keeps telling me. He wishes that when he passed, you had more of a support system because he tells me that you've been going through this all by yourself. And he says to me, Matt, it's like everybody went their separate ways. He goes, my family's not there for her. No one's there for her. He says, and I feel so bad because I have to watch her suffer. And it's like, you can't rely on anybody. It's like, you're going through this all alone. He says, I know, because there's some times where I see you saying in your head, like, I can't believe this. Everybody just got up and moved on with their life. And here I am stuck. He says, I want to let her know that I am here and with her in spirit. And I need to let her know that this was an accident, because you go through and he tells me your mind's been playing tricks on you. And you've been saying, like, was he unhappy? Was he depressed? Did he mean to do this? Like, he shows me that you questioning all of these things. And he's saying to me, it was an accident. It was an accident. You really need to know that. He says, if there's one thing that I could do over, he says, is I wish that I could go back and change what happened before I died. He says, I regret the ways that I treated you and the things that I said. That's what he tells me. But he was very nervous because he tells me that you were very close to finding out what he was doing. You were very close to finding out about these pills and about the certain things that were going on with him. He goes, that's the reason why I would get mad. He goes, I tried to keep this hidden.
He's so smart, but I was always a little bit smarter.
The reason why he's coming through is that you still blame yourself for his passing, because you think in your mind, well, if I would have pushed him further, if I would have asked questions, if I would have done this, maybe I could have stopped this from happening. He tells me, listen, you already did. You already broke this cycle with him once. He was the one who was responsible, not you. And it's really hard because he was your soulmate and you knew him in and out. You knew when he was lying, you knew when he was telling the truth, you knew all these different things. And that's the reason why you're taking this so hard. Please tell her that she can let this go, because that's the reason why you haven't been sensing and feeling him. It's because you've been holding yourself accountable, and you've been feeling like the only way to fix this is to find out who was there that day, who gave him this. Your husband says, Matt, I'm hoping that she forgives me. And I'm hoping that she lets this go. He says, because the one thing that he wants today is to see you be happy again. That's what he tells me. He also tells me about the letters that you wrote to him. There's letters that's here. And he says to me, if you tell her that, she's going to know it's real, because Matt, do you know that she writes all these letters to heaven to me? It's almost like the Notebook I'm seeing, like all these little letters that you wrote to your husband. He says, and Matt, I know exactly how she feels.
Yeah. Our 15-year anniversary is Saturday. So it's extra.
Listen, this is his way of validating that to you. And you know what's also crazy? This is his way of letting you know that he does check in on you. It's his way of letting you know that on the other side, he is fine. And more importantly, he says, Matt, please let her know that it's okay to let go. It's okay to move past that day. By her moving on doesn't mean that it's okay. It means that she's able to live life with me in spirit in a different way. You'll be able to sense him, feel him, receive signs from him, and know that he is at peace.
Thank you. That means so much.
I'm going to leave you with that.